All right, welcome in everybody. It is Saturday morning and you're tapping in with the crew for Paid for Play. It is week 0. It is time to be finally locking in on some real football bets. You already know if you tapped in with this last year, we're running it back for season 2 and we got a new co-host joining us, as you already know, Roddy from the Players Ball 1. You've seen him plenty throughout the Daily Bread Media Network sites, so you already know who he is, but he's going to be tapping in. I guess it took for Georgia to win a ship for him to finally want to show face, but we're happy to have him joined. And then we got Goose, Sam, and JD. We'll try to get other people tapped in and guest with us as usual. But Sam, how you doing? It's a great time. I know LSU doesn't play today, but you're hyped.
I mean, college football's back. It's like Christmas morning over here. I'm so happy. And then also today, I'm going down to the Bengals Rams game. Get to see Joey B in person and Jamar Chase. So we're hyped. It's going to be a good day. Let's get it, fellas.
Yes, sir.
JD, you seem way more awake than you were last season for the first few. So you cooking it, or West Coast? Anyone who's in the subs that's out there on the West Coast, we appreciate you tapping in with us bright and early.
Yeah, I am not awake. So if anyone is on the West Coast, congrats to you. So if I look awake, my high school, about 7-hour drive. They came up to Sacramento to play last night. So of course I had to go there because I haven't watched a game in 10 years. So, of course, Bishop Diego, 61-20, took care of business. We're coming for another state championship. Look out. There's a run. I'm going to share a clip on Twitter once I can find the highlight. This thing should be on the top 10 of Sports Center. But anyway, got back home at 2 a.m. last night, and we're here to talk some college football because this is Christmas, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And you saw JD live on Thursday night as well. If you're a DFS guy, that's on our channel. So be sure to be hopping over to there where we'll be talking about spreads, totals, futures, that type of market. JD might drop some DFS quickly here. But if you want a full rundown with him and his co-host, jump over to our page. Goose, it's a great day.
So great. I'm ready to play. I might do the whole show in a helmet. It's game day, fellas. We got the Rutgers R, Sign me up. I could play tight end for them.
That is not a regulation helmet, my brother. That definitely is not a regulation helmet.
Yeah,
you are
going to get I took it, stole it, had the cheat codes.
Wait, is the statute of limitations past you reclaiming that?
Yeah, graduated.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
They took a piece of paper. That's all that really matters at this point.
Look, if your email's out of the database, you're fine, bro. You're fine.
Look, if he literally caught on fire for Rutgers, I think he's liable to take a helmet.
I'll drop the Rutgers gems next week, but this week it's week 0.
Yeah, don't do it to him week 0, man. Don't do it to him week 0. Don't do it to him, man.
Roddy, how you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling like a champion, of course. I mean, what else would I feel like? I mean, until we play week 1, I'm going to be gloating. I would go pet my dog, but he's been bad, this past week. So he's getting ready for the season. It's a very stressful time here. And we're going back to back. I mean, come on, man. I wasn't going to say anything else. Come on.
Yes, sir. So we're live on Twitter at Paid for Play. Appreciate everyone tapping in there. Give us a follow if you haven't already. We run into college basketball when that time comes around, but it's your number 1 college sports betting outlet on Daily Bread Media. And then we're live on YouTube. Give us that like, retweet, follow, all that good shit there. Helps other people. But let's get into today's slate. We're going to be covering 4 games into today. Then we'll drop our best bets throughout it. But Sam, get it started with Nebraska over on the island. Not the island, but over on a different island.
Yeah, we go island to island today. I mean, just over the course of 10 hours, I don't know that there's any other sport in the world where you can start in Ireland at 12:30 and then finish the day at in Hawaii at like midnight, 1 a.m. on the East Coast. So it's going to be a great day. It took me a while to register that this game was actually in Ireland because I was loving Northwestern, like plus 13.5 at 11:30 in Evanston. but I had to remember that it was in Ireland. And I'm intrigued to see how the game plays out. I mean, everyone's talking about how Nebraska is the greatest 3-9 team of all time last year. But I mean, Northwestern is going to be Northwestern. I don't see. I don't have a pick for the side in this one, but I do like the under. I just think the travel is a lot for college kids, and then on top of that, it's Big Ten West, baby. Let's see some punts.
Oh man, you're leading us up with punts at the 12:30 game, and it's not the Rutgers punter. This ain't the best way to be starting it. So if you already know, you know. But JD, big number, double digits. You almost have to go. Sam's thinking that you have to take the dog here in this spot, but I don't know if I can actually trust Northwestern to cover a double-digit spread here. Sure, I'd love to get this live, maybe at 7 or 8 at a better number for Nebraska, and because I think they win this game by 10. That 11 makes it tough, but what do you like here?
Yeah, so let's keep it on punters real quick because I was rewatching the Nebraska spring game to try to get some DFS details Thursday night or something, and they do have an FCS All-American as their new punter, and they struggled tremendously in special teams. Finally got a new special teams coordinator. They were like the worst in the league. That's why they kept blowing games as 3-9. So anyway, there's your punter tidbit for me for the season. I was hoping this one would get to 14 to play Northwestern just because new quarterback for Nebraska, new receivers, new offensive coordinator, new system. You have the travel. They're already not trustworthy. Scott Frost is just not trustworthy to cover spreads. I like him more as an underdog. That being said, the line is not going to 14. It was at 13, and now it's going the other direction. And like you said, I view it in the same range as somewhere around a 10-point game. So no plays for me is my long way of saying that.
Yeah, long way of saying it. We finally get to see Nebraska not with Adrian Martinez. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's a potential plus here. I don't know. Goose, Big Ten guy. I know you got something for me here.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset that y'all talked about punters because that's what I was going to talk about. But so hear me out. So Northwestern, I don't trust their offense at all. They were really bad on offense last year. The Helinski, the quarterback, is back. I expect a bad Northwestern offense again, which means a lot of punts. And Nebraska, 3-9, the best 3-9 team, whatever. New quarterback, new offensive coordinator. JD touched about it. New receivers. I expect Nebraska to have the opportunities to put up 35, 40 points. Casey Thompson can play. He's not a bad quarterback, and I expect Scott Frost on the super hot seat to try to set a tone. Game one. This is a vacation game. It's in Dublin, Ireland, but I can't see how Nebraska isn't all business today. I can't see all their short fields that I'm expecting to not put up touchdowns. So I do like Nebraska. I believe it's at -11 now. I liked it at -13. I see them winning by 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, not even scared. First game of the season for Big Ten Goose, and he's saying he sees 2 touchdowns. Roddy, do you believe in Casey Thompson for Nebraska and Frost? Because is this finally the year they finally turn it around, just like the basketball program, or are they just forever going to be stuck in who the hell knows what they're stuck in?
Do I believe in them this week? Hell yeah, I believe in them this week. Now, if you ask me next week, I might have a different answer for you. But, I mean, when you're playing a team that it says here, Northwestern had a -149 point differential last year. Is that good, guys? Or is that bad?
It's bad.
It is bad.
Rutgers, though.
Yeah. Oh, damn. You didn't have to mention it. I wasn't going to say that. Okay, anyway. But I just feel like, especially like and Lamar was saying this in the chat, Scott Frost being on the hot seat so bad, you going to a Northwestern team who just purely isn't ready for you. I mean, not saying Nebraska is a powerhouse or anything like that, but this should be, like Goose said, a 2 touchdown victory. So I do like the 11.5. I'm kind of more with you, Rex, though. I might wait a little bit just because it's week 0. It's the first game of the season. It might take a little bit for the kids, especially different time zone, all the things that are going on with that. Might take them a little minute to get warmed up. The odds makers might pull the line down a little bit. So I would try to get it live. But I mean, if you're feeling, froggy and you don't want to go to church tomorrow, I would take it all the way up to 13.5 too. I think this should be a slaughter. Like, this is a team in Northwestern that scored 13 points per game in Big Ten play last year. So it's got to be, if Scott Frost again wants to save his job, it's got to start today. So
Yeah.
I have to like Nebraska.
Yeah, so that's where in the best bets, maybe we can drop all of the official ones here, or just to recap what we've given out. It's just, I like the Nebraska team total over. I haven't decided if I want to go first half or full game here, because the first half you got the number sitting at 16.5. Full game you got the number sitting at 31. I believe one of their previous matchups, it was 52-7, just a complete outright drubbing. I just think if you look at the metrics of the unit rankings against each side by position, there's not really any areas that I'm saying, yes, that's one key spot for the Wildcats that I can bank in and hope that I can get a double-digit spread here. It's just, we'll get to the later Island game. It's just a gross number to be laying with a gross team is the easiest way to put it, and it's week 0. If it wasn't here, probably this game wouldn't be getting this much airtime. Anyone else got anything they want to say to wrap up this one?
Nah.
I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the next one of the day. We got low-key next Island matchup. Who's laying double digits with the Commodores? Roddy, it's your SEC. I know you love your doors down there, but you're going to be laying double digits against a terrible Hawaii team, even though I love my Island boys there. But this is tough and tough.
All right. Let's me and Sam are about to have like our SEC conference right now. Okay.
Mhm.
So in my mind, personally, Vanderbilt needs to be, I'm not saying that Vanderbilt needs to be a even decent program. They just need to stop getting disrespected like this, okay? Because the fact that they are not a double-digit favorite going to Hawaii, okay? I know it's a very far, again, travel comes into play, all that. Hawaii is beautiful this time of year. I get it, all right? Cool. But if we're going to, as an organization, as an SEC ambassador, if we're going to be taken more seriously and not have people, who are from other conferences say, oh, well, you guys don't play anybody and the lower teams never, have any talent and Like, I'm tired of hearing that. Okay. So Vanderbilt, if you're listening and watching the show today, okay, please do not embarrass us. Go over there and whoop their ass. Okay. Hawaii's got a new coach, a new quarterback, all of that. Go over there and whoop their ass, please. The fact that this game is not at 12 o'clock also is very heartbreaking. Not being able to sweat a bet at 1:30 a.m. Really troubles me while I'm in the bar. So, I mean, it is what it is. But, again, I like Vandy here. Do I like them at the 9.5? Again, I think the theme of this entire week 0 is going to be calmate, just calm down, see how things go in the first couple of minutes, and then, make your assessment from there. But again, if Vandy doesn't come out and blow their doors off, man, I am going to have a stern talking to for them. Trust me, I am.
So, JD, I believe Vandy got down there. They've been there for a week now at this point. Advantage, disadvantage, and then give us the breakdown of the game.
I think the Hawaii home field's a little overrated personally, especially when you have weeks to prepare. So with Vandy and a smart coach like Clark Lee defensively getting extra time to prepare and then them traveling over there, being there for a while. I'm not really concerned about any of that. So when you look at the game itself, I don't see why Vandy shouldn't be better everywhere. I know why they're not being respected in the betting markets, because they had a chance to prove the almighty SEC last year against East Tennessee State, and they lost 23-3 to East Tennessee State. So I understand it, but I think they're going to keep getting better under Clark Lee. And Hawaii had the worst offseason of any team I can remember in recent memory, except other than Nevada, who's also playing this week. And they returned 2 starters defensively. They have a new system, a first-time head coach. I heard more about the court cases going on with Todd Graham than I did about the actual football team. So yeah, I wrote this full game up for covers if you want to check that out. But I think Vandy's the play. I got it at 7.5. It's getting up there. I mean, I guess between 7 and 9 doesn't matter a ton. But yeah, I agree that I think Vandy is the side here.
Sam, give me the rundown here. What are you wagering on? Because I know you have a pick for every game.
Well, I'm just going to say Roddy. Yeah, exactly. It's Vandy, precisely. Roddy, I think you're going to have that stern talking to, just because, I mean, I don't think Vandy's deep. I mean, Clark Lee believes in them. He says they're going to be a national championship contending program. I don't see where he sees that or gets that information
on the baseball field. I think
who said that?
Clark Lee at SEC Media Days. He said that himself. So I mean, I don't believe anything that he says, but I mean, I guess you kind of have to say that if you're the Vanderbilt head coach. But it's Vandy. I'm not gonna back them. Like, the defenses are terrible. I think this game, if I have to make a pick, it's over. I'm definitely gonna take Hawaii at home, and then I'm also just I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on the money line just because I have no faith in Vandy, and we're going hungry dogs on the first day.
I'm an island.
You are
boy.
wild, man. I need whatever you're drinking or feeling, but Goose, let's hear it.
Yeah, man, I'm an island boy. I'm an island boy, and I'm betting Hawaii. Man, I get it. Like, this is a really bad program. You know, they might have not had that bad of an off season. You want to know why? Because they got a new coach. The coach at Hawaii, players were saying, like, they lost the love of the game. 19 players transferred, all that. But now they got a young 40-year-old head coach. They got – the vibes got to be high. I mean, he's a former player. They got the run and shoot. They're going to just throw the ball. They're going to play some high-tempo offense. They're home. I just this is the kind of bet that it's going to be small. But I'm betting it because I'm going to be turning up, watching Hawaii on the island. I feel like it's a must. And, like, I don't know who they played their last 12 openers, but they're 11-1 against the spread in their last 12 home openers. So I'm just going to follow that trend. I'm an island boy. The vibes are going to be high. And when they cash and it's closing time, I'm cheersing to that. You're muted.
Mute.
I did it. I can usually have the blind faith like you guys with the Island Boys, but it's tough with this year's roster. It is real slim pickings this year. They might be real fade territory, and I'm with JD right now with that home field advantage. I don't think it's really going to play much. I let in with the question there, Vandy being there. I think that sets them up. Hopefully they got that vacay mode out of them already. They got that timeout, and they're ready to take it like the baseball training where the North teams travel down south for the spring training. I think they're going to treat it like that as a nice tune-up game. Let's get into – we're going to talk West Virginia versus Pitt already.
Yeah, we're not going to have a show. We're not going to have a show between now and next Saturday.
Thursday.
So we're going to get some early action on these week 1 bets.
All right. Let's hit WVU versus Pitt. Clearly, I'm completely prepped for this game. So who wants to take this one first?
Take me home, country roads, West Virginia. I do like West Virginia in this game. We got a battle of 2 former SEC quarterbacks. Slovis is replacing Kenny Pickett. But I've heard that, you know, Pitt was great last year. Kenny Pickett, Jordan Addison, they were great last year. And now the coach knows he has to change philosophies. It's going to be a more run-heavy team. And I think Pitt's going to be in a little transition. When you look at West Virginia, JT Daniels is a good quarterback, but he's so fragile. But he's playing week 0. So since he's playing, I can count on him. Or week 1. It'll be week 1 now. Yeah, so he has his former offensive coordinator at USC. I think they gel right away. And I think the West Virginia defensive line can get to Slovis, and when the internal clock picks up on Slovis, he gets a little wild. So I think the West Virginia defensive line getting to him, and I think the West Virginia offense is going to be pretty solid this year. JT Daniels, he throws the biggest lob of a deep ball. It's going to fall right in the lap. I think West Virginia goes to Pitt. I think it's the backyard brawl or whatever. They're even taking the dub.
Taking the dub.
Yeah.
JD, I know you like to tune into the ACC. Pitt, are they going to have 2 solid years back to back? I mean, the defensive line's always going to be filthy, no questions about it. But replacing Pickett, let's hear it.
Yeah, mostly I'm negative on Pitt. Goose kind of covered it, but they lose their identity offensively. They lose not only their identity. Pat Narduzzi's like openly talking about how he needs to change his identity after Whipple just got Kenny Pickett drafted in the first round and Jordan Addison won the Biletnikoff. So I don't know what the hell's going on there, but I think it's a bad change, definitely. I think they're going to be fine, actually. I think they're going to be a good team because, like you said, the defense is going to be solid. And offensively, if they're going to try to run the ball, they return every offensive line starter. And while Slovis, the passing game won't be as great, I think they'll figure it out and be fine. But I really don't like them in week 1. I shouted this out on one of my preseasons. I hit West Virginia earlier. I thought this line would continue to move. But yeah, I view this game as more of a toss-up than a touchdown game. So I for sure agree with Goose on this one.
Is West Virginia finally going to put it together under the coach, or is it you think he should be out? Hot seat time?
I think Neil Brown's a fine coach. I just don't think they have a lot going for him. Like recruiting is just okay. Graham Harrell is an upgrade offensively at offensive coordinator, but even he is kind of in my bad graces because he was like the hot up and comer at USC, and then they just kind of fizzled out. And maybe it was the program was stinky and he was on a sinking ship. JT Daniels, same thing. It's like the same thing as Graham Harrell. Like we haven't heard a good thing about him in like 2 or 3 years. And so I think they'll be better. They're going to throw the ball and be better, and they have good wide receivers. But in general, like I don't get how you can be positive on Neil Brown right now. Like he really hasn't shown us anything. So this is the year. I think they'll start off a little better, but like I'm not going to say they're going to win 9 or 10 games because I just don't see how you see that on this roster.
I agree because he was like one of the trendy hires when he's gone there. And if you just look at rankings, he's sitting between that like 50 to like 75 mark. So it's just completely mediocre. Roddy or Sam, Goose, wrap it up here for the backyard brawl.
I'll go.
Sam,
I like Pitt in this one. It's not an official play yet, but I mean, as we get closer to game time, I just think rivalry that's an old school rivalry that's getting renewed. I think it's probably the first time they've played since the dismantlement of the Big East or like the old Big East. And getting to see that as like the leadoff game in week 1. It'll be a good game, but I like the underdog here. I think it's just too good of a spot. They'll keep it close, under a touchdown. So if I had to make a pick, I think I'd lean West Virginia plus 6.5.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same way. I'm interested to see JT. I know JD was saying that, we really haven't heard a lot good from him, especially because he's been injured. And, I was one of the main proponents last year saying that we cannot win a championship with Stetson. We need JT. So it's not that I'm down on him, but again, like the injury history, everything, like he's going to be even more of a statue now. Like, I don't know, like in terms of long-term for West Virginia, but in terms of this game, I'm kind of leaning Pitt, man, even though I know that they lost basically everything. I mean, you lost one of the best receiver quarterback combinations in school history. I just think I like them at home a little bit better. I think West Virginia's, I know we were talking about how, home field advantage is a little overrated with Hawaii. I do kind of buy into it a little bit with West Virginia, especially in week 1, not having football back. The kids are going crazy, but it's in Pitt. Don't really love it. So I would be leaning to take that 6.5 with Pittsburgh.
All right, and then we're going to wrap it up with one last game before we get into our best bets, which includes win totals, conference futures, all that good stuff. So we'll chop it up round table style after we get through Penn State going to Purdue here. And this is a conversation that nobody's had other than probably people in the middle of Pennsylvania. But Sean Clifford, he just needs one decent season. He's potential top 10 quarterback in this year. Potentially. Let's see. They're going to be favored in all games but 3, and that's coming to the Auburn, Michigan, and Ohio State. It's just finally the year for Franklin. I think the 3.5 is an extremely accurate number here. The hook makes me gross, and I don't like paying to buy off a hook here. Penn State should, by all rights, just go in and win this game just on talent alone. But Franklin, I would be leaning State here, but I think Clifford, he could be some hot talk. If they come out firing here, the rest of their early games are cupcakes. It's kind of leaning into like a win total segment here, but this game could determine it, and what Clifford's stock could potentially be.
So
Sam, you're shaking your head no about Clifford a lot. You just don't believe him?
No, I just don't think that Penn State. I was shaking my head initially. I think they'll be favored at Auburn. I don't think Auburn's very good. I'm not very high on them. I still think that they can go into Jordan Air and get a win. Clifford has to stay healthy. That's my main thing. I just don't, until I see it, I don't trust it. So I mean, I'm on Purdue plus 3.5 here. I feel like every year there's one decent upset that Purdue pulls in West Lafayette, and I think they start the year off that way. If they get past this, if they get this win, they're in a good position to take home the Big Ten West and get a spot in Indy. I think their schedule is much easier after this game than both Wisconsin and Iowa, and I don't think anybody else from the Big Ten West is going to compete. And Purdue knows that. I think if they get a win in this game, they can kind of coast until they play Wisconsin and Iowa, and they get one of those games at home. So it's a big spot for them. I think all the time to prepare, and it's going to be a good environment in West Lafayette. So I like Purdue in this game.
Okay, I feels. I agree with the Clifford point. Like, if he's not healthy, there's no point in even talking about him. I do like, even though I feel like Penn State last year, their pass rush was very meh. I do like the defensive backs. I do like their defense overall as a whole, a little bit better than Purdue's defense. So that's why I kind of lean towards Penn State. I would probably lean the under 2 just because it's week 0. It's week 1 technically, but again, first game of the season, like, you got to start off a little bit slow. So I think that, obviously with receivers like, corners, should I say, like Joey Porter, I think they're going to be able to stop the attack that Purdue wants to put out there. I do agree with Sam, though. Like, there are those random games with West Lafayette where teams just lose their mind. But I think James Franklin is a good enough coach to where he can go in and he can get these guys ready to win. So I would take the 3.5 with Penn State too.
11 and 11 the last 2 years for James Franklin. When's his seat get a little hot?
Oh, it's going to warm up if he loses.
He's about to go to USC for free and have a great increase. I guess 11-11 over 2 seasons is good.
He's got a 10-year contract extension for going 11-11. Like, just because he expressed interest in LSU and USC, like, all time finesse job by James Franklin there.
I actually kind of like the over in this game. Purdue has an identity. They did lose some talent. David Bell's great receiver, but they do have an identity, and that's just to keep throwing the ball. They know they can't run it, and Penn State will stop the run. So I see Purdue just trying to do whatever they can to toss the ball around. And Penn State does have good talent on offense. Clifford's healthy game 1. They have some good receivers. It's a high number for a Big Ten game, but I do see an over 54.5. I just I don't know. I'm not too high on either of these teams. I know Purdue's getting a lot of buzz. I know Penn State is Penn State, but I don't know. I see these both teams disappointing, but in the long term, but I could see a nice shootout week 1. This should be a great game to tune into because both quarterbacks can definitely sling it, especially for Big Ten quarterbacks.
I don't know. I think this time I've ever gotten skill positions. The workhorse or the stable that they have at running back is solid. And then I'm a big fan of Brenton Strange at the tight end position as well. So I just think their skill positions has them in the easy top 3 in the Big Ten. So that's just where winning this game sets them up for the Michigan spot. And then if they can pull out those two, it's going to be. I think this is the season that they could potentially make the run. It hurts me to say that, but I think this could be. If it's not this year, I don't think it's going to happen on their Franklin in a while.
And JD, before you go, Penn State could make a run. Because I just want to go on a quick tangent because I don't think the Big Ten's that good this year outside Ohio State. Like Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Purdue, Iowa, Wisconsin. None of those scream to me except Ohio State. So Penn State could make a run. This could finally be their year. But did you want to touch on the game?
I just want to say I agree. They could make a run. I think I'm bullish on them overall. And you guys made some great points. I think the number is perfect, so I wouldn't play their side. I'm glad Goose called out the over. I think I am actually going to play that. Purdue had actually very solid defense last year to surprise a lot of people, and this is not a team that reloads and they lose Karlaftis and they lose their defensive coordinator. I think they're going to take a step back. Purdue is a team I generally think is underrated, but week 1's not the week I want to play them. The number's perfect, so I have nothing. But I just want to point out, because you mentioned they lost David Bell. Returning production, especially at the receivers and between the quarterbacks, means a lot in college football. So you lose David Bell, that's big. Milton Wright was supposed to be the number 1 guy this year. He's ruled ineligible academically. Then Brock Thompson should be the main out guy. Now he's dealing with another injury after he had 2 knee surgeries this offseason, and now is having a shin injury. It's like his 7th year in college football. He's hardly played after he had like 200 yards against Tennessee in the bowl game. So I think they're going to be struggling at the wide receiver, and I think that's too big for me. And I'm kind of bullish on Penn State. So if I get a 3, I might have to pull the trigger. But Rex did a good job talking about the hook. That's a tough one here.
Mute again.
Everybody's favorite part now. We're going to be just rattling off plays for today, futures. There's plenty of plays on Extra Dough with JD. If you still have some time to run those in and lock those in, they're still good. They don't expire. But we're going to be rattling off the plays. So, Sam, you want to start it off with what you have locked in? Ha, now you're talking on me. Karma's a bitch.
Week zero.
There we go.
Yeah, you got me. I'll just start off with what I had earlier. I'm on Nebraska Northwestern under 51.5. I do have Hawaii Vandy over 54.5. I think both defenses are pretty bad. And I mean, even if Vandy pulls away or scores some points here, I like the over. I am on the Hawaii side on the island. The 11-1 in their last 12 home openers is just it's too good of a stat for me to ignore. And then I'm also going to sprinkle a little on Hawaii money line as well. Just do some hungry dogs run faster, but
little Taco Bell run.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then Purdue plus 3.5, and then I do have one more play for Thursday. Tennessee Ball State over 68.5. Both defenses pretty bad last year. Tennessee is going to have to improve on defense if they want to actually contend in the SEC East. I know that's Roddy's division, but I mean, there's a lot of hype in Tennessee land right now, but I think Tennessee could get 56, 63 easy in this game. They're one of the best offenses in the country, especially against a bad team. So, yeah, I'll back that over. And then only one real future to give out. I think I have a couple more, but JD, they were taken from JD in the extra dough. In the extra dough spaces and everything. So I'll give out Baylor plus 500 or 550 to win the Big 12.
Nice.
I like it. I like it.
They've returned both sides or a lot on both sides of the line. quarterback change shouldn't scare people off because, I mean, Blake Chapin basically beat out Shane Bohannon, and Dave Aranda is a great coach. He's got Jeff Grimes as a good offensive coordinator. The defense is going to be solid. I think they have a good recipe to repeat as Big 12 champions.
Word. Goose, let's hear yours next.
All right, so for the plays that I talked about in the show, my official one is the West Virginia play. You can get West Virginia +7 right now, and so I'm going to lock that in. Who knows where the line moves, but if I could just get the +7, I'm cool with it. Big fan of JT Daniels. I think he's an upgrade for them. So the other play for week 0, it's tonight we have FAU is a 7-point favorite versus Charlotte, but I'm actually taking Charlotte. The Conference USA is pretty bad this year, but you got Chris Reynolds. He's a 6th-year quarterback, game manager, 62 touchdowns, 24 interceptions throughout his career. So he doesn't really turn it over a lot. And this offense is just pretty solid for Charlotte. They have a good running back that get 100 yards per game. They have 3 of their best pass catchers returning. And FAU, they have Willie Taggart as their coach. They just collapsed last year. I believe they lost 4 in a row to close the year. And that's just a program that I feel doesn't know how to win for the most part. They what was that? I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I see the Charlotte offense going against a team that collapsed in FAU. They have a new beginning this year, but I think they go in and another hungry dog. So 2 hungry dogs, Charlotte and West Virginia.
There you go, Goose. You got
There
it.
we go, baby.
The coffee's
Week 0,
going.
baby.
So and then I got 2. I have 2 future. Real quick, I have UCF. I think they're going to win the AAC, and that's because they host both Cincinnati and SMU. I like how their schedule lines up. And then additionally, Cincinnati lost so much talent. They should be great still, but they got to go to UCF, and Houston just can't stop the run. They have a great offense, but I could see them losing some shootouts. So give me UCF, and then give me Troy over 6.5 wins. I'm going deep with that one. Troy is in the Sun Belt West. Just look at the Sun Belt East versus Sun Belt West. Sun Belt West is weak. Troy is an easy schedule. They're going to come out of and be in the Sun Belt Championship, and they have a great defense. They're going to hold teams under city all day for Troy.
All right, Roddy, let's hear yours. Then I'll rattle my few off, and then we'll get to everyone's favorite time where JD goes the prize picks, DFS, just gives you
all the energy you need for a Saturday.
Indeed. Well, look, I'm a piggyback off of Goose's energy since throw the house on Georgia State to win the Sun Belt East, man. Throw the house on it. But now, in all seriousness, I'm going to start in Hawaii. I swear to God, I live 2 hours away from Nashville, Tennessee. I will be at campus, at the football facility, if they do not cover this game. I swear to God, I'll be there with the separation papers to kick them out of the SEC if they do not cover this game, okay? So I got Vandy 9.5. I don't feel good about it, but I think it's going to happen. Again, like with everything that's happening with the turnover in Hawaii, I can't back them right now. I just can't. And the game's not at 12, man. It's not adding up for me. So let me get Vandy 9.5. I am going to roll with Sam as well on the Nebraska under, just for everything we were saying. Week 0, it's in Ireland. I don't even know how that's going to go. So I like that under in that situation. And then I would say I'm staying away from everything else because, again, it's week 0. You got to be calm. We're going to have a lot more meat on the bone next week, especially on Saturday. So y'all don't go too crazy this week. Just get your feet in the water, man. Just get your feet in the water.
All right. So I like 1 win total, big time sitting out here on the board. Florida under 7.5, minus 125. You can lock that in. I was in the chat with Sam and JD on their episode of Extra Dough talking about it. I think it's going to be a rough first year for them. Starting off against Utah, I think that's going to be an L. And then Kentucky's a nice toss-up game where if they drop those two, I'm sitting pretty and feeling real great with that ticket. If they come through and go 2-0 out it, I can basically just light that shit on fire real quick. But I just don't think it's going to be a smooth year. I expect them to finish right at 6 wins. Would not be surprised if they got 7. So getting that hook on the 7.5 is exactly where. I don't want to just run down each game of the schedule, but Florida State game at the end could give you a potential hedge out because that's probably a game that it could come down to at the end of the year if they could be sitting at 8. But I do not like the adjustments here, and I'm just not sold into Anthony Richardson, and I just don't like the depth they have behind them. It's as simple as that.
There's a very easy path to them starting the season or finishing September 1-3. I mean, it's there. I think that's the way it could very easily play out, but that's the only thing I'll touch on there.
The second play that I really wanted to go and rock with this season, but I just can't do it based off of just scheduling for UNC. You're playing App State. The hell are you doing that for week 2? You have zero reason doing it. I get you want to be nice. That is just the toughest game to have sitting out there. And with the ACC just usually being a complete toss-up like it could be, the 7.5 at even was trying to call my name there, but that App State game just – I don't know what the AD was doing with that one. Keep it nice and simple there. JD, let's hear what you got for us.
All right, so first play, I am with Goose on Charlotte. I think Goose made a lot of good points. I won't rehash them, but I just want to say I don't trust Willie Taggart at all. This is a team that, and it's not just because I'm a former Oregon fan who, of course, would have no reason to trust him or Mario Cristobal. Fuck them both. But this is a team that underwhelms with talent. So, like, the only reason they're favorites is because they're more talented, and all they do is underwhelm. Charlotte's run defense was terrible a year ago. They have good offensive skill talent, like Goose mentioned, but they got a new defensive coordinator. And then Florida's running back, Johnny Ford, their top rusher, he's listed second on the depth chart, and he was having like academic issues. Like, I'm not sure if he's going to play, if he's suspended for a game, a half. It's unclear what's going on. So I definitely like Charlotte. I think a money line play on Charlotte, if I have a couple Happy Dad seltzers here soon, might be played. I like that. Second off, I like UNLV this week, laying chalk. What could possibly go wrong? Laying 3 touchdowns with UNLV. Here's the deal. They're playing Idaho State. Idaho State was a 1-10 FCS school last year. They lost by an average score of 20 points per game. So we basically just need barely over their average loss last year. Their coach from a year ago caught a murder charge that he's currently fighting, pleading non-guilty. So they got a new coach in there who says they're way better along the line of scrimmage. We'll see about that because they got absolutely ran all over last year, 5 yards to carry. Now they're playing UNLV that all they do is run the ball. So I think it's a perfect matchup. I think UNLV's actually got some really good skill talent. I don't know if Harrison Bailey is like still a quarterback or not, but he was once a highly thought of recruit at Tennessee. I just like UNLV, third year in the system. I think they're going to run all over Idaho State. If they don't, I'm fading UNLV all week because they should win this game by 35 easy. I'm also taking their team total over 36.5. Again, Idaho State, they have like 12 freshmen and sophomores on their first string depth chart. So I don't see how they're going to be much better than they were last year. And they sucked last year. Now I'm getting worked up. Okay, I got 2 unders. I'm playing UConn, Utah State under 59.5. I love Utah State. I keep hearing people speaking ill about Utah State. That was a good team last year, but they lose all their receivers, and that was their identity last year. I don't really see a reason for them to lay it on here against UConn. I think it'll be pretty comfortable and then coast. They had some easy games last year, Utah State did, and they never really ran the score up or anything. So I don't know why they would do that here. And are you going to trust UConn to get to 21 points or something like that? I certainly am not. Nevada, New Mexico State, last play, I played that under 48. That's been dropping, so not the best number. I also played New Mexico State earlier in the week. But yeah, but they have both new coaches. Both teams are going to suck. Both teams are going to want to run the ball because they have no talent whatsoever. Yep. So a first half under, I'll probably end up playing that after a few seltzers, like I mentioned, but I'm on the full game under there, and that's my 5th place.
I was about to say, I wanted to talk about, I was hoping that you had something on that Nevada game there to wrap it up here, because New Mexico State's defense is real bad. That's my only concern is 100% both of these teams are just going to rush it. Is New Mexico, they're returning everybody. Are they still just going to be that terrible that it doesn't matter? They could probably they could give up 35 even if they only rush it 30 times. That's my only concern of why I haven't locked in that under either. But after a few Mountain Wooders, could definitely see that under ticket going in there. First half under, definitely. Defenses always start out strong early. So that's why it's maybe stay away from some early overs. You have to wrap up the show then if you're putting the helmet back on. There's no way that I could potentially do anything now at this rate.
Bro, this is a great time of the year. Week 0. I've been waiting for this. Like, baseball's cool and all. It's pretty slow. I just can't wait to be a degenerate. I can't wait to watch the Hawaii Vanderbilt game. It's going to be main screen at all the bars. We're going wild. Touchdown. Every touchdown, we're taking a shot. Let's get it.
Every touchdown.
Nah, I'm capping.
She's gonna be in the hospital.
Goose, I ain't driving to that the local hospital there to check in on you, man. Don't do that.
Yeah, wear that thing all night if you're going to be doing that, bro. Wear that helmet all night. Protect yourself.
Oh, no,
Stay away
that's
from
a recipe for disaster. People come, like, mess me up.
You get the extra thing now they put on it. The extra thing that they add on top.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Mushroom
the little
cap.
padding thing. Yeah.
The mushroom cap.
Yeah, make a makeshift one.
I thought he was about to pull one out for a second.
Yeah, look. Oh my God, I was like, oh shit. Okay, you already ordered it. My
He
bad.
is a former equipment manager, man. That's where he does have all this stuff on deck. But as usual, we appreciate everyone tapping in with us. This is week 0 plus the Thursday games. We got you covered, so you can run this back to talk about the Penn State game later on in the week. You already know each Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m., we have us 5. We'll bring in some guest pickers sometimes as well. We'll go through the main card. We usually pick 6 game breakdown for full slates. JD gets to his player prop talk. And then on Thursday nights, he drops the DFS slate for your Saturday slate. So if you're a DFS player, you want help customizing, just want some feedback on players who he's potentially targeting, all locked up and loaded for you as well. Anything else before we sign off, fellas?
Yeah, go jump in the hot tub and turn the stream up, man. Turn the stream all the way up and go jump in the hot tub right now.
Do it for the people,
football
Rex.
team that no one cares about. But we out.
It was a great sign off by Rex. Deuces.